Hi everyone. For this anatomy model, I will go over parts of the endocrine system. Starting at the top, you have the pituitary gland right there, dangling down below the brain. That's the pituitary gland. Then if you zoom in, this is how the pituitary gland looks like, also with a sagittal cut view. You have the infundibulum, which is little connection for dangling the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is also divided into the anterior portion and the posterior portion. Anterior portion is always kind of colored darker, pink color. That is officially called the adenohypophysis. Adenohypophysis for anterior pituitary gland. This portion is the posterior pituitary gland, and fancy term for that is neurohypophysis. Okay, so again, infundibulum, adenohypophysis, and neurohypophysis. On to the next endocrine organ, which is right here in front of the trachea. This is called the thyroid gland. Zooming in to the thyroid gland, we have this picture, or this part of the model right here. This whole thing is the thyroid gland, which is in charge of making T3 and T4 for metabolism purposes. Now, if we flip this organ to the behind posterior view, this is how it looks like. From the posterior view, we can see another set of endocrine organ called the parathyroid gland. We actually have two pairs of them, a total of 4 parathyroid glands for producing parathyroid hormone, which is in charge of regulating your calcium ion, blood calcium ion. Next organ downwards, you have the pancreas. Pancreas right here, if you zoom in to this model, part of the model, this is called the pancreatic islet. There's a lot of parts to the pancreas. Here, we're just concerned with the pancreatic islet, which harbors your alpha and beta cells for releasing insulin and glucagon. Beta cells for insulin, alpha cells for glucagon. Then you have this little gland sitting on top of the kidney. This is the kidney. Sitting on top of it is what's called the adrenal gland. When you zoom in to the adrenal gland, this is how it looks like with a sagittal view right here, sagittal cut through the gland. The outer portion or rim of the gland is called the adrenal cortex, which release a whole bunch of hormone, collectively called adrenal corticoids. In the center of the adrenal gland is your adrenal medulla, which is in charge of releasing two hormones, epinephrine and norepinephrine, for fight or flight purposes. Then you have your reproductive endocrine organs, which you have the female one right here, zooming in to the ovaries, this is the enlarged view of the ovaries, in charge of releasing estrogen for maturation of female reproductive organ. For the male reproductive organ, you have this portion, which zooms in into this, which is the testicles or testes. Inside the testes is where sperm is made, as well as making testosterone or androgens as male sex hormones. And that is it for this endocrine system model.